with Glory Rising Radio. Just wishing Change and Change Ministries and the Arlington Police Department a very good Faith and Blue weekend. Just let you know we're praying for you too, and have a blessed weekend.
Hello, this is Fanny Manager, Faith and Inspirational Lady, with the Fanny Minute Show live streaming on DTV Network. I stop by to wish Change and Change Ministries and the Arlington Police Department a great Faith and Blue weekend. Love you, fans. Just have faith and do what? Keep it moving.
Hi, this is Vanessa Tennyson, wishing Arlington Police Department and Change and Change Ministries have a great blue weekend. See you then. Bye.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We are having a great Faith and Blue weekend here with Lieutenant Brian Jones of the Arlington Police Department. I just want to thank the Arlington Police Department for letting us use their facility today. We have a great show for you today, a great broadcast. We have Pastor Christopher Pipkin here with us this morning. Yay! And we have Rosie, Elaine, we have Pastor Renee, we have Alex here with us this morning. Everyone will be speaking on Faith and Blue. I think it's so important where the faith community and law enforcement comes together. I think it's very important where the community as a whole and all the residents in the community and law enforcement comes together. We are all in this together. We are all as one. You cannot separate the community within itself. So I am excited this morning that Faith and Blue National 2022 has given us the opportunity to actually communicate, to actually understand, to actually get cohesive together, if I may say that. It is one of the best things that you can do. The Bible even describes love your neighbor as yourself. They are our neighbors. It's the second commandment. You cannot take a person's job. And I won't get on a big soap opera with you guys this morning, but just because my job says this and somebody else does this, okay, what if I'm a cashier at a grocery store? Oh, forget where we at, the convenience store on the corner. You cannot hold anything against anyone that is not them directly. And what is the biggest thing we have to do in the Bible? Forgive, 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 forgive. How many times? 7 times 7. We have ministers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 ministers in the room. And we have Lieutenant Brian Jones. So we have, I'm just keeping it real. We have 6 ministers in the room and 1 police officer because we are on the radio, and I just want to paint a picture for you guys today. 6 ministers, 1 police. What can we do to help? What can we do to help? In every police department, in every school, they're outnumbered. The teachers have a class of what, 22, 25, 30 kids?
Yes. Yeah.
And they're supposed to be able to manage them, and we put all this on them? No. We have to help. That's why they have the PTA. That's why they have clergy and police. It is our job and it is our duty to actually be a prominent point within the community. We have to be pillars in the community. And what do we have to do? Work together. Because together, I would just say we're all better together. Mm-hmm. We're just all better together. So I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves this morning. I'm your host, Rochelle Owens with Changing Change Ministry. Yeah. Yay. Changing Change Ministry is a youth mentoring program. And Pastor Pipkin is here, so we are avid about the Angel Tree.
All right.
Oh, I love Angel Tree. He introduced us to Angel Tree 3 years ago.
Okay.
3 years ago, he introduced us to Angel Tree, and it's Prison Fellowship Angel Tree, where we actually distribute toys to the kids at Christmas time in honor of their parents who are incarcerated. And even with that, that's still part of Faith in Blue.
It is.
Okay. The hardest thing, and I found out, and I love it, and I'll never stop with Angel Tree. The hardest thing I found out is a 10-year-old kid whose parent is incarcerated. That is a hard life because they're going to another stage in life also. And how they manage and how they get to school, doing school and everything, it makes a big difference. So we as a community, we must step up and we must take our part. It is not the kids' fault that their parents are incarcerated, but the child struggles so hard with all type of issues, school, mental health issues, just being able to trust other people, even in the household. And so I just have a bleeding heart for the Prison Fellowship Angel Tree program. And it's just part of Faith in Blue. Faith in Blue, I know we'll let Officer Jones speak because I know he also works with the school and coaches, basketball?
That's football.
Football. Oh, you're doing football. Oh, okay. All right. And we'll let Brian Jones talk this morning. All right, Arlington PD on the mic.
All right, I'll start the introductions. First of all, good morning to everyone out there in Radio Land and on Facebook. Thank you, Ms. Rochelle, for having me back again this year. My name is Brian Jones. I am a lieutenant with the Arlington Police Department, where I've been for the last 13 years. And this weekend, as Rochelle stated, this is our Faith in Blue weekend. Faith in Blue is a national initiative where police departments and faith-based organizations across the country collaborate for a weekend of events in the effort to bring us together closer as a community and the police force and build relationships. I'm happy to be here, and I'll let the other people here introduce themselves.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Christopher Pipkin, and I pastor Oasis on the Rounds Christian Healing Center in Garland, Texas. And I'm also church mobilization manager for Prison Fellowship Ministries, the largest prison ministry in the world.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Alexandra Arteaga, and we are with Groundbreakers Ministry, and we are starting for single women and fatherless children. That would be our ministry. So we haven't yet gotten everything together, but we're starting to. So, God willing, He will provide, our next steps as well. So nice to meet you, everyone.
Hi, my name is Rosie, and I'm also from Groundbreakers Ministries. And like Alex said, it's originated in North Carolina, but the Lord wanted to bring this here in this area because there's a need for it. There's a need for, ministers to go and minister to mothers, single mothers, and children. There's a need for that because if we can work with these children while they're young, then they can have a better shot at life since most of these kids don't have their parent present, their father. If we're there for them, and we can show them the way and make it easier for them.
All right, good. I'm loving it. Pastor Renee is here with us today too.
Amen. My name is Pastor Renee. I am from Center of Love Kingdom Ministries in North Richland Hills, Texas. Thank God we partner with Change and Change Ministries. So it is an honor and a privilege to be a part of Faith in Blue. I have brother-in-laws and family members that are police officers and retired lieutenants. So it is an honor to be here. Amen.
Amen.
I want to say thanks a lot to Pastor Renee for coming in this morning. She is one of the busiest people in the universe, I would say. I am so surprised that she's in town this morning. She's normally out of town, but she always comes in and helps us in any way. And you know when you have a good group of pastors and ministers and law enforcement, when they are helpful. They're just helpful. Everyone wants to see the community flourish. Everyone wants to see the residents flourish. We want prosperity. We want success. We are creating positive change. Positive change. And that's what we want to see. And that's why we are here to help and support Faith and Blue Weekend 2022. I am so excited about Faith and Blue. I am so excited about Faith and Blue. Yes. Faith and Blue. Tell us a little bit about Faith and Blue, Officer Jones.
Okay.
Or Lieutenant Jones.
So
what
bring
should
it
I
home.
call you?
You call me Brian.
What should I call you, Lieutenant Jones?
Brian will work.
I know, right?
Say Brian.
Yes, ma'am. So to bring it home for everybody. So when people are in trouble, they call two people. They call law enforcement or they call the church. So what Faith in Blue is, it recognizes that the church is a huge pillar of our community. So is law enforcement. So we're bringing these two entities together so we can collaborate and build relationships to help the citizens of your local town, whether it's Arlington or Washington, D.C., wherever you may be. And this is what this weekend is about. I believe strongly in relationships. That is very biblical based, relationship building. And that's what we try to do at our police department is build relationships with the community. And that's what this weekend is about.
Building strong relationships is the key. I just want to ask everyone here, what can we do to support our local law enforcement? I'm going to move the mic down a little bit so it can go around. What can we do to support our local law enforcement? It doesn't come off. This one comes off. Oh yeah, this way. All right, Fishbowl Radio Network in the house.
All right.
Fishbowl in the house, y'all. Fishbowl Radio Network. I would not go with any other network. I don't know how they deal with me. I'm just a real person. Y'all look at me. To our listening audience, they are looking at me. How do they deal with me? Okay. All right, Angelo. I love you. Good morning, Sammy. I love you. I want to say before we get really started in this, we're giving everyone their accolades. Fishbowl Radio Network is an awesome network to be on. If you want to get your business out, if you want exposure, if you want to minister the gospel, if you want to write your books and read your books, whatever you want to do to get the word out, to get the message out, I recommend. I've been with Fishbowl for years now. Pastor Renee, you've been with Fishbowl also for how long?
2.5 years.
Yes, we've been with Fishbowl.
Yeah.
Fishbowl is awesome, very professional, great studios.
Yes.
They're here with us today.
Yes.
They are, I mean, they like police officers. You got to deal with whatever come your way that day, and you have no idea what's coming in the door that 5 minutes. And that's what kind of people that I like to work with. Very professional. And we all know that everybody has their own personality. And that's what we're going to get into also. It's knowing personalities. I'm the director of Changing Change Ministry, and we are a youth organization. We also are certified counselors, National Disability Mentoring Association, and also accredited Christian counseling first responders. So when you are a first responder crisis team leader, you have no idea what you're going to run into. I know Officer Jones with the Arlington Police Department, when they go outside, they stop a car, they have no idea what they're going to run into, none whatsoever. I know with Pastor Pipkin, he goes in and out the prison systems, have no idea what he's going to run into. we're going to let Pastor Renee say a couple of words before she leaves us today. Come on over this way, Pastor Renee. Here, you can just come on over here.
Okay.
Come on over here close to me. Okay, we're going to let Rosie, and then we are going to get down to some business because we are actually want the community to know exactly what's going on in the community, what we can do for the community. And I want everyone to think about what can you do to help your local police department. If it's nothing but pray for them every day, what can you do? What can you do to help create positive change in your community? So we can all talk noise, but what are you doing to help your community? All right, Pastor Renee, before I get on the sermon, go ahead.
Well, she said one of the things that we can do is pray for our police departments and be there and be supportive. Obey the laws too. Obey the laws, but as a church and as a community, get involved in your police department. Get involved and see where the need is at, see where the help is at, because there's so much going on. What can we do in our community? Connect with the mayor, connect with the police department, with the mayor, the Chamber of Commerce. Just get involved in your community and just be a listening ear and be supportive. As a church, we have to be supportive and be there for them. As Brian, Lieutenant Brian, he does a lot of things. He's on the school basketball team, so he's out in the community. So that's one of the strong things that we need to do is be out in the community and be supportive of our local police department.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
What would you think, Pastor Renee, would be one of the biggest things that we can do here in Arlington, in our local area?
Yeah.
We can go in Tarrant County if we want to, because we're all in Tarrant County.
Mhm.
What would you think that, let's go with your church. You have a nice, thriving church and a really international ministry, and you go overseas and things. What would you think that would be able to be done now?
As a church, I would say we all come together as one. We all come together in the community and find out what the needs of the community is.
Really are, for real.
Find out what the needs of the community is. And then go to the police department. Talk with the chief of police. What can we do to be a help? Because I promise you, when you go and you talk with the police department, they'll let you know where the need is at. They will let you know where we need help in this area with our youth, in the judicial system, especially with the juvenile halls. They would allow you, of course, to get certified to come in and talk with the juvenile halls. But that's how we can do it as churches come together as one and unite. Be unified. That's the thing. We have to come together as one and go into the communities and find out. And go talk with the police department. Introduce yourself to the police department. Let them know who you are. What is your vision for the community? What do you see what changes you would like to see in the community? And so that would be the first step, is to unite and get with churches, like-minded people.
I like what you said there, like-minded people. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I think all the comments you made were very well. And it starts with first having a conversation. Let's sit down and talk about the needs of the community, the needs of the church, and then let's get together and see how we can make that vision come true. And it takes work. It takes physical work. It takes getting on the same page. And that's what we do here at Arlington, led by our Chief Al Jones. He preaches relational policing, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Pastor Pipkin.
Trust, building trust.
That's
Building
true.
trust. I don't care where you go in the world, you're going to have discrimination, not racial discrimination, but occupational discrimination. And when you can bridge that gap and create a sense of trust, because everybody gets a bad rap, regardless of where you are.
That's true.
Police get a bad rap. Pastors get a bad rap. Politicians get a bad rap. Bankers get a bad rap. And so when we can change the narrative, and the only way to change the narrative is to bridge the gap and create trust. Because the more I trust you, the more then we can relate. But I have to dispel all those other bad rumors and bad information. And I was talking to she is a minister
Rochelle.
as well. Oh, yeah, Minister Rochelle. I was talking to her yesterday, and we were just talking about, my choices were not a result of the police.
Oh yeah, when we get in trouble.
Yeah,
we did that last year with me, and said when we get in trouble,
it ain't
when a police officer stops us, because when a police officer stops us, and we work with jail and prison ministry also, when a police officer stops us, it's dealing with our choices. We can blame it on the police, we can blame it on the system, and we have a lot of, over 100 years, we blame everything on someone else. We blame everything on the system. But what did I do? Did I run a stop sign? But now the police is bothering me, and we've got to dispel all of that. If something happens, and I was talking to Alex here, if something happens positive, we don't want to talk about that. But if something happens negative, we have 99 things that happen positive. It's hard to talk about that. But if one thing happened negative, we can harp and we can harp and we can harp and we can harp on that forever. And I don't understand, and I agree with you 100%. It's about our choices. I made the choice to break the law. It's not the law's fault because they did their job.
That's right.
Go ahead, Pastor Pippin. I know that that gets rough on me.
It's crazy because I minister to a lot of what we consider formerly incarcerated disenfranchised, and it's not until it hits home that people want to talk about it. So, Big Mama, she'll come to me, hey, you know what, my son is in jail. Can you help me? And it's the same thing with the police. People don't want to tell people that they're related to police officers because of the stigma that's been perpetuated throughout the community. And so when we can get in and build trust, one of the things that we've done, and it goes along with the Faith in Blue, we've had bowling tournaments with the Angel Tree kids and the police department.
Oh, that's nice.
Bowling tournaments, basketball tournaments with the Angel Tree kids, because the challenge with that is, and I don't want to get on Angel Tree, but the challenge with that is the only thing they know is the police took my dad away from me.
Yeah.
And when we can change that
and when we can change that, I agree.
That, hey, you know what? Man, we had fun with the police. We had fun with them. And then when mom or dad get honest and start telling the truth about and taking responsibility for their actions, then it helps the children to start being accountable for their actions. So that's how I believe the church can partner with, that is to start dispelling those rumors and helping create trust with them. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to call them. I'm going to call them. Look at me sideways. Hey, Lieutenant, he looking at me sideways. You better come get it. No, but
that's true.
When we build that trust, because I grew up, and I was just telling Lieutenant, my dad taught me to respect the authority.
Correct.
And we're not teaching. So when the church started teaching to respect the authority, I think things change.
Yes. Amen. I agree, and I also believe, if we as a community we interlock arms together, and we take some of the load off of our officers that work so hard already, if we can set up programs for these young children to show them the way, if we can be there for them, show them discipline, right, and love, because a lot of these children, they need love, right, and they need a good environment.
Yes.
So we can interlock arms and work together, take some of this load off of our officers, and just create a different kind of environment, for our area, and for throughout the U.S.
Yeah.
We can all interlock arms. We can be the change, and we can be action oriented. right?
Absolutely.
I agree, Rosie. I feel that most of the kids right now, they are into the negative versus the positive. So they're seeing what the TV is showing them, you know, and what the TV or whatever shows you're watching, that's going to bring their mindset to believe that. And so what they need to know is they need to believe, and you know, also, you know, how they're raised as well. You know, most of us are not raised in with good environment, you know, under a good family member, or you know, or they're raised not too good, you know, because you know maybe their parents are into drugs, or they're, you know, been in and out of jail, so they see all the negative, and so they see how they talk to the police officers, you know, negative, you know, saying bad words to them, and so then seeing it on TV, because like me and her were discussing about the negative.
Yes.
And so I honestly believe that the TV, all they show you is the negative. They
Yeah.
don't show you the positive.
It's sensationalized.
We need more
negativity.
positive.
And we need
Yeah.
more positive.
You're so
Yeah,
sad.
and we are creating positive change.
Right.
We are
Right.
changing change
Yes.
and creating positive change.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, interject.
Well, something I got from what everybody said is talking about perspective, right? I believe there is great power in perspective. When somebody has a negative encounter with a police officer, it shapes their perspective. When they have a positive one, it shapes their perspective. So I think the onus is on us as police to get outside of our cars and go up to and create relationships. That's how you change someone's perspective, and they can start understanding, okay, I may have had a bad interaction with this officer, but I know Brian, and Brian's a good officer. Right here at the Arlington Police Department, we have over 33 programs, community programs. Half of those are youth programs to help do that, build relationships. We have a program I'm involved in called the Coach 5-0 program, where we partner police with athletic high school teams to build relationships. We have a program called the May program, where they're partnering at Workman Junior High to build relationships. Also have a program through EA Sports, where officers play video games with kids to build relationships. That's where it starts. You'll hear me throughout this podcast, this radio show, talking about the power of relationships, because that's how you change perspectives and also build trust. Starts from relationships.
Yes. I totally agree.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad, as you say, it's why we're here today, is building positive relationships within the community. And it is, and I love the group that we have here today, because we are all 100% committed to positive relationships and creating positive change. Just totally committed to it. And I really, really love that today. Go ahead, Pastor Pipkin.
Yeah, well, you know, as you were talking, Lieutenant, I was thinking about this, that, and the ladies, the challenge with children is they don't know how to express the pain or disappointment or discouragement that they have, and so it's presented in different ways, and most of it is negative. And when we can get, let me see, what are the pastors in here?
Yeah, acting
no,
out. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we can get the church to stop thinking that I just have to pray more, we're not going to pray it away. And when we can get, because I don't know.
Go
if you're
ahead,
familiar
preach, Pastor. You're telling the truth.
ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, right? And so when we look at the dynamics of adverse childhood experiences, it creates PTSD.
Yeah, I do.
And it also, we know that trauma is the foundation for mental illness.
Yeah, it is.
And so now we have all these things compiled, not to mention Big Mama and Aunt Betty talking bad about the police department.
Right.
And then they go to the church, and then the church, instead of speaking against Big Mama and Aunt Betty because they're tithers, they're co-signing with them. And, you know, they're talking about how bad they are because they want to appease
the
congregation.
Because the church is a little different now than it was when I grew up. Okay. It's a lot different. Okay, so more commercialized. And I can say that, okay? My parents are pastors. We own churches. My dad is the president over the convention of 88 churches, so I do know a little bit about churches. For all of our listeners, just so we qualify our conversations, we're all ordained, okay, and we're all licensed, and we all have a background and a history on both sides.
Absolutely.
I think Officer Brian is the most, pastor Christian that's in the room.
I wouldn't say all that.
He got a badge and he got a Bible, so y'all better watch out for him. That's the one that's gonna get you. But yes, in the old school, olden days, the church used to be the pillar of the community.
Absolutely.
The church used to be everything in the community. If you need anything whatsoever, you go to the church, and you were assisted. If the police need anything, the law enforcement, the sheriffs, the state troopers, anyone in the community, we have been so divided over the last 30 years that it is just incredible. The neighborhood, when I grew up and you grow up, the neighbors were able to speak to the children, and the neighbors were able to watch the kids in the street. Well, we used to play stickball in the middle of the street, and they were able to watch us. And when it was time for, if anything happened, they were like, "Well, now it's time for you guys to go in the house." We didn't talk back. We didn't do nothing. We didn't want to go home, but the neighbors knew what was best. Now we don't know our neighbors. We're not talking to them. This is a world of divide and conquer. It's satanic. It's biblical. It is a storm going on, and we have become so self-centered that we're not even looking outside our own four walls, and half the people are just themselves with the new technology to be able to help their neighbor, to be able to help the children, to be able to help. When I was a kid with law enforcement, we used to go down to the police department on a regular basis, whether it was 2 or 3 times a year. We bake the cakes, we bake the cookies, we do surprises, we take them to them down there, we let them know that we love them. They knew us, in a small community, they know you. I don't care how large it is, whatever beat that the police was on, they know the people in the community more than we knew each other. They can tell you, yeah, you Ford daughter, yeah, you're Owens, yeah, you're Harris. They can tell you that. And they see you around the street. And so now, since the world has changed, technology has changed, social stances have changed, the church has changed a lot. You go to the church now and you ask for something, and I'm not going to harp on the church, but this is Faith in Blue, and we all need to take a step up.
That's right.
We all need to take a step up, and we all need to be transparent. I think everyone on both sides, Faith in Blue, should look at what's really going on, not the perception on the outside, to seek the truth, I guess you would say. Just seek the truth. Not the perception, not the ritualistic acts, not the order of service, but seek the truth. At my job, we process, and we just process. We process the rules. We process the order. We do the standard operating procedures. But sometimes it's time to quit processing things and actually do something about it.
That's right.
Stop going through the process and fix it.
Yes.
And I don't expect you to fix the whole world in one day, but if we all take, and I'm talking to the entire listening audience, the entire Facebook audience, the entire television audience, I'm talking to everyone. If you take time to just fix one thing and create positive change with just one thing within your community, it would just flourish. It would flourish. I don't care if it's a bake sale. What are we doing? Bracelets, the Be Kind bracelets to help stop bullying. That was invented by a 7-year-old because the only thing he could do was make beaded bracelets. Over the years, I can imagine him just being the governor because he started out with be kind to other people and stop bullying. That was just fantastic at 7 years old, which is like what, second grade or something like that. But he can see a problem and he's starting to need. But what are we doing as adults within our own community? You can't just sit there and talk about somebody and make no effect. Oh my God. Go ahead, Rosie.
So true, Rochelle. I agree with you. I think that it started when we lowered our expectations. We lowered our expectations for our children. And, you know, our children, if you set high expectations for them, they will overdo those expectations.
Yeah, whatever it is.
So with technology, you know, it kind of like put everyone's face on in their phone, in their computer. But if we could just put that down for a minute and just look at each other and talk to each other and just spend time with our children and just expect more from them.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
I agree. Because when you set that high standard of expectations for your children, they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
you know,
better expectations.
And they're gonna exceed. And when you don't have no expectations for kids, they're down in the bottom. There's no telling where they're gonna end up. No telling, they'll probably be in and out of juvenile. You know, hanging around with the wrong crowd. So you have to, because once they're adults and they have those high expectations, that's not going to be nothing for them. They're going to be an overcomer.
Yes.
They're going to be able to move forward in life and have those great expectations and have a positive mindset.
Yes.
And when someone has a lower expectations, their mindset is not positive. So,
example.
Yeah.
I think the example and just, yes, like you all said, I agree. We need to just interlock arms and just be more action oriented, like the pastor said.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we asked Officer Jones, what can we do? We know you have a list of stuff, and the police department needs. Well, I know clergy and police. What can we do as communities? What can we do as faith-based organizations to help what's going on in our community to make it safer and better?
Yes.
Well, I think the first thing that can be done is go to your local police department and ask them, where do you need my help? We have a volunteer program here in Arlington where anybody can volunteer, and there's a lot of tasks that our volunteers do help us out tremendously. The next thing I think you can do is focus on the youth of your community. A lot of issues that we're seeing as a nation and country starts with the youth we spoke about. So any idea you come up with as far as helping youth out and collaborating with police in that, I think is going to be key, because everything starts at home. I believe that's how we change what's going on in our culture, police and community, starting it at home, and it starts with your heart. I think we have a heart problem. You change people's heart, and you'll see the community start changing, and the police, right? Because all the time, police, we don't get it right every time. So everybody needs a heart transfusion. I say change that heart. But as far as the community helping the police out, go to your local police department. Say, what can I do to help you all? Then they'll lead you in the right direction.
So let us know a little bit about some of your programs that you have. I know we were discussing the one you told us about last time, where we pray for police every day. We'll start with that one.
Yes, that's called Shield the Badge. It was started by 2 officers, and it's something simple as the community praying for police officers every day. Like I said, we have approximately 33 community engagement programs, with most of those focusing on our youth. We have a Youth Explorer program for high school age kids, I think 14 to 18. It covers a year-long program to participate in police activities. They get the kind of insight, okay, what it is to be a police officer. And we also have in Arlington hometown recruiting. It's a partnership with AISD, the school district, and kids that are juniors, seniors, and sophomores. They go through police-specific training to prepare them to be a police officer they want to later on in life. And we have adult engagement events as well. We have ACAP. That's the Arlington Clergy and Police Partnership. So ministers that in our city of Arlington, they come up here and pray for police officers on a weekly basis. And we also have something we call Bridge the Gap. And they meet every other week with the community, and are just talking about things and issues that are going on with the community. So that's several of the biggest ones we have. Here at our police department, we have a lot. Like I said, it's led by our chief, Chief Jones. He's a very relational police chief, and he believes in relating with the community by these community programs.
So there's one that with the faith-based community. Okay, we have Shield the Badge. That's where, and that's nationwide, isn't it?
Oh, that's in Arlington, but I'm sure every
In Arlington.
yes, ma'am. I'm sure every city has some kind of format of Shield the Badge.
Of some kind of form of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Where we pray for, and knowing that, you know, as Christians, we're supposed to pray for everybody every day as it is already. We do it's a weird blanket prayer that you hear a lot of the times, more so than an in-depth prayer. And, you know, tarrying is something that we rarely do, or you rarely see this day and age. And so we understand that, as you say, we're all in it together. We're all people. We're just all human. Whether my uniform, your uniform, we have two people sitting right here today, and both of them have uniforms on. Both of them have uniforms on. It's just a different way that they look. Yes. And we're all held to accountability. But I did want to go through two of the programs. I like where you said clergy and police. One said weekly, and then the other one said Shield the Badge, which is praying for a police officer every day in corporate prayer in agreement, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so how does one get involved in that, and then what does it entail? They have a conference call line, or is it individual? Is it my church, her church, and his church, or do we do it all together?
Gotcha. So for Shield the Badge, you'll contact our main police station, and we'll get you in contact with the people who over Shield the Badge, and they'll give you an officer to pray for. So you have a fifth officer like Brian Jones, you pray for Brian Jones. So they'll give you somebody to pray for with that. With the Arlington ACAP.
So on that one, okay, do we call every day, or is it just part of a program? We call in, we get set up, and then they give us the information, yes. Or do we? Okay.
You call in, you get set up. They'll give you Brian Jones. Badge number is 2627, and daily you pray for Brian Jones, and that's what the program is.
Okay, so I would pray for one. For all of our listeners, I think it's a great program. I think you should do it in your community, do it in your city, do it in your town. I think it's fantastic. So I would pray for Officer Scott, and she would pray every day for Officer Jones, and he would pray every day for Officer Miller, and she would pray every day. Okay, so it's one per person.
Correct.
Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. What are you thinking, Lane? It's just like, we're loving every minute of. So now we are responsible for, and that's a good association. That's a good relationship. And that's a good way to start, as you say. We have to change our hearts.
Yes, we do.
So you are a designated prayer warrior, a designated driver, okay? You are a designated driver to shield the badge for this particular officer that you do not know and you've never seen. Now, do they ever meet or?
No, they never meet.
Oh, that's good.
But I do believe in the power of prayer. Right, as you're praying for officers, you should pray for safety, pray for the wisdom to make the right decisions, the courage to go when others won't go, and also pray for the safety of the people they come in contact with. So I think the power of prayer is powerful, especially in this profession, but also we talked about earlier, you got to do things too with prayer. You know, prayer comes with doing it and moving your feet. So
what do y'all think about that? So all you have to do in listening land is contact the Arlington Police Department. Let them know that you would like to pray for a police officer every day. And if they'll give you the name of the police officer that you want to pray for, diligently put them on your list, put their name on the refrigerator, put it on the tag board, put it in your Bible, and pray for them every day. And then also have your congregation pray for them, your prayer group pray for them. You are assigned by God an officer. That is so cool.
It is.
Y'all kind of like that.
Yeah.
Y'all like dig all off into the
Yeah.
spirituality of that.
Yeah.
Y'all should see the faces in the room, you guys. They're like, I kind of like that. And then, that's the way it goes because it's growth. And what that does is you're planting a seed for other people also, as well as yourself. And then when you pray the fervent prayer of the righteous for that person that you do not know, oh my God, God gives you so much back in advance. Oh, I like that. Like that. So we just pick up, call the number, we'll all get one today, right?
Right. I think it's important. I think it would be kind of like a prayer chain.
Yeah.
Everyone praying for someone, and you don't know what that person is going through.
Yeah.
And you can even bring breakthrough to that person because you don't know, or healing, whatever that person is going through, and then God can speak to you and tell you, hey, this is what he's going through. So I think that's an awesome idea.
That's pretty cool. Okay, what's the other one?
The other one we spoke on is faith-based. It's the Arlington Clergy and Police Partnership. It's called ACAP. So it's a coalition of clergy from every faith denomination in our city partner with the APD. So if you're a faith-based leader in Arlington, Texas, and you want to join ACAP, contact the main station. You're going to ask for Sergeant Vince Pewitt, and he'll get you set up. And they do awesome things for us as far as come in, they pray for us, but we also put on presentations for them so they can understand the police job and the police role as well.
Okay, so that's the Clergy and Police, ACAP, which is Arlington
Clergy and Police Partnership.
C, Clergy and B, ACAP. Okay, so that's a more cohesive group where you get together and you explain what's going on in the community. And then what do they actually do, the clergy?
Yeah, well, they act as messengers for us too. If we need to get a message out to the community, we can use ACAP to do that, right? They also come up here and pray for officers as well. So it's kind of a mutual beneficial relationship for clergy and the police department. So if you don't have one in your local city, I would encourage you to get with your clergy ministers and set that up with the police department.
Oh, that's cool. So what are the steps today? You like that, Rosie? Yeah, she said I like that. So you'll call the number, set up the ministry, the church, the group with the police department.
Yes, for our city, you'll call the main phone number to the police station, ask for Sergeant Vince Pewitt, and say you want to be a member of ACAP. You have to be a minister or leader of a faith-based organization within Arlington, Texas, and Sergeant Vince Pewitt will get you set up with the program.
Okay, cool. And there's training.
Yes.
Okay. Because I know there's training for clergy and police. Yeah. Are any of you guys clergy police already?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, let me tell you, and I'll tell our listening audience, it is totally awesome. 100%. You get to see the ins and outs of what's going on, and you also are, what do you call it, representative, or you get to spread the word of what is going on, what is news, what is necessary, and also your congregation and your church and your outreach ministry knows the true fact of what is going on, and that's the most helpful part. What can we do to help? Well, they're going to tell you this is what we can do to help. And they also disseminate the information correctly. Because what we think and what we don't know can hurt us. But they will tell you the truth, and you get the numbers, you get the facts, you get everything, and it's a lot of police, and it's a lot of clergy, and it's like way cool. It's like way cool. It's like way cool. It's like way cool. Yeah, I've been in Kappa for a long time, and it is so much fun because it's exactly what you says. I know them. I know that particular officer. I know the chief of police. I know his attitude. I know his personality. I can basically tell. And let's see, over in Fort Worth, we get to ride with the officers like once a month or once every 2 months or something weird like that. Also, yeah, you ride around with them in the police car, and if you want to do it again, you can, and if you don't, I'm just kidding. We're totally transparent. Brian laughed, and he was like, "Yeah," and I'm like, You. Sometimes you get a police on the wrong side of the city, and we civilians, we kind of soft, and we could. I don't want to go over there. I just don't want to go over there.
But you bring up a very good point. Another thing,
laughing.
you can do that anywhere. It's called police ride along. So just so you can see it through a police officer eyes, go to your local police department. Say you want to do a ride out, and I think in our city you can do it once a year. So just go ride. We talked about perspective. That may change your perspective on what police actually do, and then conversating with the officer may change their perspective on the community, the citizens. So I encourage everybody to do a ride out at least once a year if you can, to get that perspective from it.
Oh, okay. Well, that was good. He said it's called a ride out. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go on the next trip to the next block over. Can we go uptown with our little ride around? But it's wherever the police officer's job is located,
Correct.
wherever he works at. And then it gives you a better perspective for sure. You're correct, because I respect you more.
Yes.
Because you actually come on the side of town more, and everyone in America has somewhere that they're not going. This is not local. It's a city, and we know. Sometimes we've been over there before, and we used to be there, and we like, don't go over there. Just don't go over there. Just look at Pastor Pippin like, yeah, I can't go over there no more either. We already know, and it's not that we're not better than them. We just know better. But the police have to ride through there all day now.
Police have to service every area of the community. Excuse me. So that's what we want to make everybody feel safe, especially in our city. We want to enhance public safety.
I agree. I know my grandkids we're all in the same city, and they were like, that's how there's like they have dirt on the street. That makes a difference, because it does when we're looking for houses, also where to live in the schools. And then they were hearing gunshots somewhere, and they didn't know what the gunshots were. These are my grandkids, it's like, wow. And I haven't heard a gunshot in the neighborhood. Do you guys hear gunshots? You hear gunshots?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so I haven't heard a gunshot in the neighborhood in a long time, but I am from a neighborhood that you hear gunshots all day, every day, and then they kind of become the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I was just saying. But Alex, she says, yeah, she hears gunshots all the time, every day. But don't they become the norm?
They do become norm.
And don't you kind of know who's shooting and where and when?
Yes.
And then you have to stay away from. It's not even a whole area. It's like 2 blocks that you just don't go down and stuff like that. That's just called. That's where we live at. And Rosie's laughing. And Alex is like, yeah. I'm like, you already know who's shooting. But since we have an officer in the room, but if the police come, do we know who's shooting? No. Do we know who's shooting? No. Did we hear gunshots? No. Okay, that's a bad joke, but it's true. It's true. Pastor Pippin say, yeah, it's true. We're like, no. And then we look at her and like, those are our neighbors over there. We'll just leave them alone. It's crazy. Go ahead. All right. So I like the programs. That's what I must say. And we really have to get out there. Go ahead, Rosie.
Yeah, we do. We're here. And thank you, Officer Jones, for the service to all the police departments in the DFW area and throughout America for what you guys do. And we're praying for you guys. Let us know where we can help. And to everyone in Facebook, let's interlock arms and let's help our police officers. We have to be more action oriented and just get together and pray for our officers and for our neighborhoods, our cities, and our nation. Okay, so it's just it's amazing what prayer can do. So we need to be praying and action oriented.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much, Michelle, for inviting us today.
Oh my God, I'm having a great time. Are you
And,
guys having a great time?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so I want you to talk a whole lot. Officer Brian, we're going to take us a quick little 1 minute break. And, yeah. And we're going to get a little bit of water. We're going to come back. For everyone's on Facebook, if you have any questions or any comments, just go ahead and send us comments. We'll read them out. We're going to do the shout outs right now. We're going to listen to a little upbeat music, and we are good to go. All right, we'll see you guys in like 1 minute. Positive change is something we all must do together. We'd like to thank the Arlington Police Department for all of their help and support in keeping our communities a safer and better place to live. We wish you guys a great Faith and Blue weekend.
Thank you.
Hope you have a good time. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Brian Jones.
Hello, this is Pastor Renee of Center of Love Kingdom Ministries, wishing Change and Change Ministries and Arlington Police Department a great Faith and Blue weekend. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Hello, this is Anita High School with Prim Poison Proper Etiquette Consulting Business. I would like to wish Change and Change Ministry and the Arlington Police Department